everyone, I'm Ryan. You're watching 60 Cycle Hum, and in this video, I'm going to guide you through the Valco FIVE-0 reverb, tremolo, and drive pedal. It's a 3-in-1. That means I've got to work 3 times as hard in this video, right? It's not really how it works. Most of the work is in editing. But anyways, I'm pretty excited about this. It's not every day that I get to show off a product that lives in this early 60s, kind of surfy, psychedelic, drippy, springy, choppy, pulsating, torn speaker sort of neighborhood. And that's exactly what this pedal does. It lives in that early 60s kind of pocket of sounds. Anyways, let's get into it. You want to hear it. I want to show it off. Here is my dry sound from my High Spirit Manta Hawk. You can look up the video for this guitar. But wait, don't do it right now. You've got to have your dinner before your dessert, so please finish this video first. This is the one that I worked on recently, so please watch the whole thing. All right, here is that dry signal from my 2 Princeton's rig. If I don't play this, people get mad now. All right, here is the dry signal. I keep my amps dialed in pretty flat for these style of demos so that you hear the product. You're not hearing a demo of my amps. I don't want you to hear what my amps sound like on edge of breakup, even though that would sound very exciting and fun. I want you to hear what this does through a fairly flat signal so you can get an idea of what it might do through your amp. All right, here is that reverb now. I'm going to start with the reverb and work my way backwards. I don't know if I mentioned that already. There you go. The namesake of the pedal, the Hawaii FIVE-0 theme song, right? It does it. It really does it. In my springy reverb pedal journeys over the years, I've discovered there's 2 basic styles of springy reverb pedal that checks all the boxes for me, or at least gets really close to delivering a surf appropriate sound. There's the analog style pedal that uses like a belton brick, kind of clicky, slapbacky, pre-delay sort of sound, and that's really the class of this. This is doing that sort of sound. It's not a true drip, but it's got this nice kind of like slapbacky, kind of like clicky clank thing going on. But the voicing of it, the tonality of it, the way it responds to your playing works very well for like a surf sort of sound. The other end of the spectrum is the, you know, like the high-powered computer, extremely digital style pedals, like say the True Spring and stuff like that, that get very hot when you run them because they're running really high milliamps. They're doing a ton of processing to get you as close as they can to the sound of the real thing. A Fender outboard 6G15 style reverb tank. But anyways, I think this is a really good example of the Belton brick style kind of clinky, clanky, pre-delayed sort of surf reverb sound. Well, it went pretty dark on the end there. Technically that's a missed note, but I like where it went. So let's check out the range of the controls here. You've got a size, a tone, a blend, and a pre-switch. We'll get into that as we cover the trem and the drive. But let's max out that size setting. This affects the length of the reverb trail. You pull it all the way back and you get a really quick, small reverb trail. It's kind of fun just to have that little bit of like pre-delay clank there, giving you a little bit of like a splashy drip. But I tend to like it right about there. Then you've got the tone control. Roll it all the way dark if you want. Or all the way bright. Or somewhere in the middle. And then the blend control. This is the one that can really get you in trouble. I feel like past this point, it starts to get really, really rich. I'm running a pretty rich reverb mix right now. Like, I think we can all agree, the reverb is on in that position. But you get closer to noon, and it starts to really overwhelm your signal. Ooh, right there. You actually start to get some like tonal shifting, like some mids start coming up as you turn up that blend. But it's just buried in reverb. All the way up. Let's try it with the size down. Yeah, it's a really, really rich mix there. I like it right about there. All right, let's move on to the tremolo now, and I'll be able to show off that pre-post switch there. Pretty standard tremolo, rate, shape, and depth. There's no volume control on here. I usually like a trem that has a volume control, but this does a great job of bouncing you just above the mix so you're not losing too much signal at the bottom of those sine wave troughs. Here it is bypassed. There's a decent little bit of boost there, which I like to have because you're losing half your signal, maybe even more when you use a trem. So having that volume boost makes a huge difference. But let's go to some extreme settings and explore these wave shapes, and then I'll show off how it interacts with that pre and post control on the reverb. I'll leave the reverb on in the pre position for now. So this is the sine wave. This is the smoothest wave on here. Here is the triangle wave. The square wave for big heavy chop. And I don't remember what they call the last setting, but it's a variation of a square wave where most of the signal is cut out, and then you get little spikes of the signal coming back in. Dime that rate, gets pretty dang fast. Here's a more normal setting. All right, so that pre and post now. I've always run my trem after my reverb to cut up that reverb trail on there. But I've been having a bunch of fun having the reverb post, because what happens is it cuts up the signal from the guitar, but it doesn't cut up the signal from the reverb, so you get this kind of lush trail following a chop, which is something that I don't typically mess around with, but I've been having a bunch of fun with it. You can hear that reverb trail just goes on, and it doesn't have the chop on it. That's fun. Here it is pre. It gets really interesting when I start putting it before the drive. All right, on to the drive, which honestly, this is the wild card. The drive section is the part where, I don't know, guys. You're either going to love it or you're gonna hate it. It's a very specific sound. It's spiky, the grit is really loose. This is not a tube screamer. I'll tell you that right now. This is not a typical like blues Stevie Ray Vaughan style overdrive. This is like torn speaker, Link Ray, Kinks sorts of vibes. If you've got like a Ramones style punk band, like this is probably a good drive for you. See what I mean? Yeah, it lives in that neighborhood. If you're looking for a jack of all trades overdrive, this is not it. But in this package, with the reverb and that trim, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm really happy that they went this spiky, loose, sort of torn speaker sort of direction. I know you use the same terms over and over again, but that is what's going on here. Let's check out the range of the drive control. It actually has a bit of an EQ shift across the range, kind of similar to, what happens with an like a DoD 250, where you turn it up and it gets brighter, and you turn it down and it gets darker. It's kind of like that, but opposite maybe, or different. Let's discover together. Turned all the way up, it actually gets kind of throaty and thicker. And then you pull it back and it actually starts to get brighter and thinner. My A was slipping a little bit. Really hear that buzz in there. It really sounds like a speaker is falling apart. This, by the way, is taken out of their Blood Buzz dual-sided fuzz and overdrive. So it's kind of a simplified version of the overdrive that they have in there, from what I understand anyways. And all the way down, it gets really thin. But it has this overdrive trying to be a fuzz sort of thing going on. See what I mean? All right, let's check out the range of that tone control now. The literature said that center is kind of like your balance. After that, like, it gets brighter or it gets darker than normal. But I find that it's got a bit of like a high pass filter thing going on, where it's always got the same amount of highs, but turning it to the left introduces more lows, or maybe allows more lows through. I don't know. That sounds really bright and thin to me. Where all the way to the left sounds like it's approaching normal as far as like EQ goes. So bright and nasal. Imagine this with like an out of phase pickup set. Oh, that would be crazy bright. I tend to like it at the extreme left side of the tone control, which is wild for me. I usually am pushing brighter on things, but it has so much high end in those spikes and those peaks that you need something to balance it out a little bit. So you got kind of like a mid-scoop sort of thing going on with it all the way to the left there, but it still retains this kind of like spaghetti western fuzzy sort of quality to it that, you know, I really, really like, but it's definitely not an overdrive for everyone. Let's start combining things now, and we'll explore, you know, having the reverb all the way in front of the overdrive. By the way, backtracking to the drive a little bit, that's unity on the volume control. So if you want to like just slam a tube amp, this will do it. Like it'll slam any tube amp into the distortion. And with that really bright spiky nature, sometimes that's exactly what you want as like a treble boost sort of thing to really hit your tubes. And once it's all compressed going through the tubes and pushing into overdrive, it just turns creamy. Like it's not as bright and spiky when if you've ever slammed your tube amp with a boost before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is the reverb after the drive. And here it is before. So what's going on here is the clipping from the drive is clipping the reverb trail when it's at its peak, and then as it blends down, that reverb trail is going to get cleaner and cleaner. And that's actually going to stretch out how much time you get off of that reverb trail as well. Here it is post. But it's also filtering that reverb trail, so the bright, nasal, kind of lo-fi qualities of that drive are going to fully character that reverb. Let's go for a more conservative reverb tone, maybe even dial the tone back a bit. love hearing that really like fizzy, bright, spiky peak from the overdrive coming through with the reverb like mixing underneath it. I like that. Not sure where I'm going with it, but I like it. Let's max it out again for fun and science. Shoo! We'll put the tone all the way up too. It's baritone time. We're at that part of the video where I just want to screw around and have fun, and I'm going to do it with baritone. This is the Squier baritone, the paranormal baritone, I think. They're back in stock, depending on when you watch this video. Who knows? Maybe you're watching this in the year 25, 26 or something like that. Way off in the future. But anyways, when I publish this video, they're back in stock in different colors than black, seafoam green, and sunburst, I believe. But anyways, these things are a great bang for the buck as far as baritones go. So yeah, I consider this thing to be a really good version of that specific style of reverb circuit with a totally great sounding tremolo and then a drive circuit that is very subjective. You need that sound or you don't. You can use it in creative ways, mixing with everything else that's going on here. If you like that spiky, kind of loose grit, torn speaker, link ray, kinks sort of sound, it gets you there. Really interesting tone stack on there. The filtering of it is very different compared to a lot of other drives. Like this is not a please everyone sort of overdrive, but man, all together as a package, it makes a lot of sense. It is, you know, like a retro rock starter kit all in one. I like it. What do you guys think? I want to know what you think of the Valco FIVE-0. I gotta play the Hawaii FIVE-0 riff one more time, right? I'm looking forward to reading everyone's comments. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me rude, nasty comments. Support us on Patreon. Buy a shirt if you're naked. Click all the links to check this out and any of the guitars that I played in this video. And you know what? Stay grounded. Bye, everybody.